Have you ever stood at the base of a massive skyscraper and just wondered what keeps it breathing? I'm not talking about the steel and glass. I mean the hidden network of systems that really power our modern world. Well, today we're going to go deep inside to meet the teams that manage them.
No, seriously, think about it for a second. What's pumping through its veins to keep the lights on, the water flowing, the air at just the right temperature? The answer is way more complex and a lot more human than you probably think.
It all comes down to an unseen team of specialists. We're talking engineers, technicians, and project managers all working perfectly in sync. They're kind of like the guardians of the building's vital functions, this dedicated crew making sure everything just works flawlessly behind the scenes.
So what they manage is something called MEP. That stands for Mechanical, Electrical, and Plumbing. Now, the best way to think about it is like a building's central nervous system. All of the pipes and wires, those are the nerves, carrying vital signals and resources. And this maintenance team, well, they're the brain, making sure the right command gets sent at exactly the right time. It's the reason your office isn't freezing and the fire sprinklers are ready to go, but not, raining down on your desk.
Okay, so now that we know what MEP is, let's actually meet the people who make it all happen. And this isn't just a random group of workers, it's a very precise hierarchy, where every single role is designed to turn these complex problems into finished jobs.
The whole team is really built around 5 core roles. You've got the project manager, the engineer, the supervisor, the technician, and the helper. And we're going to see how each one, from the big picture thinkers all the way down to the hands-on problem solvers, is absolutely essential.
Every successful operation, of course, starts with a good plan. And in the world of MEP maintenance, the ones who create that plan are the strategists. They're looking at everything from a 30,000-foot view, setting the whole project into motion.
Right at the very top, you've got the project manager. If this whole operation were an orchestra, the PM is the conductor. They're the one with the baton, making sure the violins, let's call them the plumbers, and the cellos, our electricians, are all playing from the same sheet music, perfectly in harmony.
And they're not just conducting a small school concert. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar performance. They are responsible for everything, from that massive budget to the project timeline, making sure the entire operation stays on track and delivers exactly what was promised to the client.
So they're the ones asking the big questions. Why are we doing this project? What is the ultimate goal here? And critically, how do we make sure we meet every single contractual obligation along the way? They basically define the entire mission.
But a grand plan is only as good as its execution, right? And that is where the engineer comes in. They take that high-level strategy from the project manager and they translate it into a concrete, technical, step-by-step action plan that people can actually follow.
The engineer's focus is all about the how. They take that grand vision and they turn it into a daily reality. They're the ones figuring out the best, most efficient way to get from point A to point B. They're approving technical specs, coordinating between different crews, and making these critical calls right there on the ground when things, inevitably, don't go exactly to plan.
So, to put it simply, while the project manager is up in the command center focused on the big picture, the overall health of the project, the engineer is down on the ground, zeroed in on the floor plan, making sure every single nut and bolt is exactly where it's supposed to be.
All right, but plans are just words on a page until someone picks up a wrench and actually makes them happen. And that's where the front line comes in. These are the people who turn blueprints into real, functioning systems.
Leading the charge here is the supervisor. They are the critical link on the ground, making sure the engineer's plans get executed safely and efficiently. They are the eyes and ears of the engineer, and they are the direct voice of the frontline team.
So what's really crucial here is their obsession with safety and execution. They know that just one wrong move can have really serious consequences. They're also meticulous record keepers, documenting every task and routing their teams to make sure the right people are in the right place at the right time.
And that brings us to the hands of the operation, the technician and the helper. The technicians, they're the specialists. They're the ones with the deep diagnostic skills to figure out why a complex air conditioning unit has failed or how to rewire a faulty circuit. And the helpers are their essential support, making sure they have every tool and every part they need to get the job done right.
So let's see how this works in practice. A supervisor assigns an urgent pump repair. The technician immediately gets to work, diagnosing the failure. The helper is right there, handing them the next tool they need, keeping the area safe. And once it's fixed, the supervisor comes back, inspects the work, and gives the final sign-off. It's just a little symphony of efficiency.
So after all that, what's the big takeaway? It's that in MEP maintenance, the team is the system. This isn't just a collection of different jobs, it's a single, interconnected unit.
This quote really says it all, doesn't it? You can have the most brilliant, detailed plan in the world, but if you don't have the right people on the ground to execute it with precision, well, that plan is pretty much worthless. You know, it's like a championship sports team. You need the coach setting the strategy. That's your project manager. You need the quarterback calling the plays. That's your engineer. And you absolutely need the players on the field making every block and tackle. That's your front line. If any one of them fails, the whole team suffers.
This all leaves us with a really fascinating thought. As our buildings get smarter, filled with AI and predictive sensors, how will these human roles change? Will technicians become data analysts, just interpreting what the building is telling them? Will supervisors start managing human-robot teams? The future isn't set, but man, one thing is for sure, the world of MEP is about to get a whole lot more interesting.